Hello, I'm David Buckland and welcome to this week's Video Insight. As I've discussed in recent blogs, US 10-year Treasury bonds have risen from approximately 0.5% in mid-2020 and are now about 3%. At the beginning of 2022, they were 1.5%. So they've effectively doubled in about 4 months. So the concept of transitory inflation has been reduced to rubble, with the war in the Ukraine pushing up commodity prices, continued supply bottlenecks and general tightness of the labour markets as many economies exit COVID-19. In the Western world, the rate of inflation is hitting 20, 30 or 40-year highs, and examples include New Zealand at 7%, UK at 7%, Germany at 7.5% and the US at 8.5%. Most central banks have moved very late in their tightening cycle, and cash rates currently in most economies of 1 to 1.5% are still very low by historic standards. Australia's record low cash rate of 0.1% compares, for example, with the emergency low cash rate of 3% we implemented back during the global financial crisis over 13 years ago. Much of the Western world's adult population have joined an enormous bull market for their prime asset, their home. But with house prices and household debt at record levels relative to disposable income, indebted households will be sweating on these rising interest rates. And this could probably have a knock-on effect. In the US, for example, 30-year fixed mortgages have just hit 5.35%, a 12-year high. Given they were under 3% not so long ago, this has added about a third to their monthly mortgage repayments for a standard 30-year mortgage. And for those Americans buying today, they've just picked up a house that's risen 20% on last year and are now paying about 50% more than a mortgage they would have had to pay for maybe in early 2021. Buyers who fixed a high proportion of their mortgage for some years will be less affected by rising interest rates. In the past, I've pointed out that early last year, a 4-year fixed home loan in Australia was sub 2%. Today, that rate is closer to 4.5%. So what do buyers today do? They obviously go to variable rates, which are running at around about 2.3%. But they're vulnerable to the Reserve Bank jumping on the tightening bandwagon late. No matter how you cut it, the psychological boost and wealth effect we've all enjoyed from strongly rising house prices will be missing in the foreseeable future. And this means indebted households are more vulnerable to central banks tightening, and as I've said, they're tightening late in the cycle. That's all I have for this week. Thanks for watching, and please continue to follow us on Facebook and Twitter.